You are listening to Inspired Caring with Michelle Magner, episode number 150. Hello, welcome to Inspired Caring. I'm your host, Michelle Magner. If you are caring for an older family member, this is the podcast for you. Each week, I bring insight, tips, inspiration, and strategies to help you care for the people that you love without losing yourself along the way. Having cared for both of my grandmothers, I've helped manage everything from hospital stays, households full of belongings, to navigating senior living and end-of-life care. And I've worked in senior living as a result of that experience, serving my residents and their families as they've been on this journey too. Thank you for joining me today, and I hope you enjoy this episode of Inspired Caring. Welcome, Rachelle Pfeifer with Rekempt Home Organization today. Hello, Rachel.
Hello. Hi, how are you?
Wonderful. This
Good.
conversation, I think this is the perfect time to be having it because as we step into this new year, people have all kinds of great ideas about who they want to become and the steps that it's going to take to get there. So for me personally, I would like to become a little more organized
Yeah, that's a very common one.
and maybe not have so much stuff around me. So welcome. I'm excited to
Thank
talk with you today.
Me too.
So how did you come to fall in love with helping people figure this stuff out?
Well, um, I've just been doing it my whole life. It came pretty naturally to me. My mom is, I'm gonna say it in the nicest way possible. She's a little scatterbrained. I
Mm.
love her to death. But she's always kind of just like scattered and so kind of my solution was always to like, let's get things a little bit more organized. Like that was kind of just how I lived my life. And I always loved cleaning. My mom had this list of like 52 household chores on it, and she would circle the ones that me and my brother were supposed to do over the summers. And if my brother didn't get his chores done, he would get yelled at or grounded. And I didn't like confrontation at all. So I
Yeah.
would always be like, if you fold the clothes, I'll do the rest of the chores. So I just kind of always did all the cleaning throughout the summers. And that was just something that I always had fun doing. I'd listen to music. Like I loved the look of the before and after, like feeling
Yeah.
productive at the end of it. And so I always loved it. And my dad is a painter, an interior painter here in Omaha. And
Mhm.
so I have worked with him several times over the years, and he's always owned his own business my whole life.
Mhm.
And it was like I figured out that I really loved that space of being in people's homes and helping them be comfortable and relaxed in their home with, paint colors or whatever that is. And when I started thinking about doing my own business, it was like, okay, I could do the painting that my dad does, or I could do interior design, or there's cleaning, but there's kind of this other thing, this specialized cleaning that I was starting to hear about from kind of Marie Kondo and, the home edit and all of this stuff. I was starting to kind of pick it up. And I started doing research and realized that it's fully a industry that
Mhm.
is, there's actually quite a few people here in Omaha who do it. And it just felt right. I was, yeah, ready to get away from corporate America.
It's like this perfect blend and meld of all of these different things that you've enjoyed,
Yeah.
that you've been good at, and you've just turned it into one thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I still get the design aspect. Like I get to kind of design somebody's pantry or their closet or whatever they are wanting to design within their budget. So,
I love that you said to your brother, you just fold your laundry or the laundry. Like it sounds like that was the one thing either he was good at or willing to
he
do.
was willing.
Yeah,
Yep.
you were able to tap into his strength. Um,
Yeah.
and
I've
what's
never
kind of
even thought of it that way. That's so
well,
great.
right? So I think some people may hear that and think he got off easy and off the hook, and you're like, no, wait, like that was the one thing he was fine with and good at. And immediately thinking about families who are trying to take care of an aging parent
Yes.
and like leveraging each other's strengths.
Yes, it's so important to like know, well, it's really important to know your own strengths so that you can share that with people too. Because I mean, I think that mostly I just knew that folding was something he could get done
Mhm,
because he would just sit and watch TV and be able to fold. So he was still able to do something he liked doing, but he was
mhm,
able to do it. And so, yeah, if you're dealing with kind of aging parents or any kind of a caretaking situation, knowing your village's strengths is
mhm.
huge. Yeah.
And your strengths, like you
In
said.
your own, yes, for
Yeah.
sure.
So when you walk into a space, like so many of us would curl up in a ball and just immediately feel overwhelmed. Are you like giddy with delight when you see
Yes.
chaotic space? Yeah.
Yes. So the short answer is yes. The longer answer is not when it's my own stuff.
Okay, fair enough.
I want to make sure that everybody knows that it's not like it's just easy for me with my own stuff. The reason I think it's easy is because it's an external, it's something that is separate from me, and I'm able to look at it with kind of a more, I guess, objective eye.
Mhm,
And so I think that that's one of the really big benefits of having somebody come in and help with organization, because they can help you think of things with a little bit of a different perspective or a different lens. So, especially when people are going through their own things to get rid of them or things that they've been given by other people, it can get really hairy because they're like, oh, but I wore this shirt to my first concert, or
right.
I took this to the hospital when my mom was there, and it was, such a great source of healing. That is all amazing. And I'm never going to like try to force anybody to get rid of anything. But what I
Mhm,
really focus on is helping people think about their stuff with intention. So
mhm,
it just, to me, what that looks like is, do you have 5 things that give you the same sentimental value? Like maybe you took all 5 of these things to the hospital and now you can like maybe dwindle it down to just 2 and get rid of the other
mhm.
3. Or if you can take a picture of it and make a photo album of those things that to you hold sentimental value, but they don't necessarily need to be taking up space in your home. And I think that that's really big for people who are getting into assisted living, getting into a smaller apartment so that everything's on one floor. I think that's really important to be able to separate the things that you really want to keep around you and the things that I could still have this same sentiment sparked if I saw a picture of it, so trying to
Yeah.
figure that out.
That is so meaningful. And it's making me think about my grandmother who had started golfing at age 40.
Okay.
Golfing and or smoking. I don't remember. I'm pretty sure it was golfing
Both.
and smoking, maybe both. She
What a funny age to
won
start smoking.
massive trophies. She
Yeah.
giant like hole in one
Yes.
trophies. And so when she moved out of her home, she was still living and we took some with her to
Hmm.
decorate her place. But the trophies were meaningful to her, right? They
Yeah.
were not so much to us. So we
Hmm.
stored them, and then once she passed away, we were like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do with all these trophies? So we lined them up on the mantle and we took a picture.
Yeah. And now you'll always have that picture, but you don't have the physical thing that is going to
Right.
be kind of, I hate to say weighing you down because I don't want it to seem like, your loved one's things weigh you down, but you do have to, I kind of, since I've started organizing, have changed my mindset a little bit about my own space and my own home. And it is a very use it or lose it mentality. Like
Mhm.
if I'm not putting it out to look at, if I'm not doing anything with it, like let's find out where I can put it, kind of. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
No,
but
I that
yeah,
really lands.
yeah. It
I
is
think
difficult.
it is
I
difficult. It
I
is
totally
hard.
understand. And I keep telling, so one thing that I would really like to start doing is offering like a free class that is tips, tricks, kind of stuff to help people walk through like, well, what do I do with this? What do I do with this? And just kind of be there as a sounding board a little
Mm,
bit, but also I would love to do some sort of discussion group that helps people to get rid of that shame or guilt of like, I'm a bad person if I get rid of this, or because I see it so often. It's like you can tell that somebody isn't in love with the item anymore. Maybe they never were, and they're keeping it just because of this person that gave it to them. And there's just, for me, I don't think that person would even want that to weigh you down. I just truly believe that people give things to someone that they think they're going to appreciate or think they're going to love. And if it doesn't bring you that, like, I don't know. I don't know if it's having a conversation with that person and saying, I actually really think that this would do better at a whatever, maybe I could give it to my friend who has been really crocheting a lot. Like, I would love to give her this amazing collection that you've given me, or, just kind of like letting them know you're getting it to the hands of somebody who's going to love it and use it is going to be a little bit better, I think, than holding on to it and keeping it in a storage closet. So,
Oh my gosh. Yes. We have inherited three houses, homes full of a lifetime of belongings
yes,
from three
that is
different
so
people.
hard.
And it's things like the needlepoint that great Aunt Marge made with love as a gift for my mother-in-law. Both of these people have passed away. So, like, you're
Mhm.
holding this item in the hands, and
Yes,
there's so much history to it, and it's not
right.
something that anybody wants. And so we had to give ourselves permission.
Yes, you do.
It's served its purpose. It's life
Mhm.
expectancy in our space
Yeah.
has run its course, and then just hope it's going to find the right next person through.
And it
uh,
will. I really think it will. But yeah, it is. It's so hard. There is also just that aspect of, I don't I don't want it to end up in a landfill kind of thing. Like, I don't want it to just end up polluting our planet and things like with
Right.
stuff a lot of the time. So one thing that I'm doing to try to combat that is gathering a list of nonprofits around Omaha, their specific wish lists, so that when somebody's getting rid of something, I can just control find and, okay, blankets, we can take them to the Humane Society, we can take them to the shelter, like wherever they're accepting lightly used blankets, I can put them in those spaces so that you're not just dropping it all off at one. I mean, I don't want to name any one
Right.
place,
Yeah.
but if you're just donating it to a place where somebody's going to have to buy those items, it might feel a little bit better to know. I have a customer who very specifically was like, I didn't want this stuff to get donated to one of the big donation places,
Mhm.
and she ended up taking like all of her clothes to restorative wings.
Mm.
It's like when people have been sex trafficked and in, that kind of space, it's for job interviews and for, just to give them clothes that they can feel good in. And I really believe in giving back to the community as best we can, because why make somebody buy something like that if they can't afford it? And I find that really important. I do think that a lot of people are more willing to get rid of items if they know it's going to a good cause. So,
Is there like a process that you take people through, or layers that you work through with them?
um, I do, but it really depends on how I start to pick up on kind of how they're talking about things. So
Okay.
one of my like main examples, if I am, say I'm cleaning out an office and I find a shirt and they say, oh, I've been meaning to sew that. And then I pick something else up and, oh, I've been really meaning to glue that back together. I see these as projects, right? So these are
Okay.
projects you have to specifically take extra time to do. And then I start a project bin for them. Like, I start to notice, I mean, whatever it is, oh, I really want to keep that for sentimental value. Maybe it's a lot of sentiment, maybe it's a lot of needing to work on stuff, whatever that looks like. But the best, easiest way for me to describe it is with the project bin. And then at the end of this, maybe 4 hour, 6 hour day that we've been going through everything, maybe there's 15 projects in the project bin. And I look at them and I say, okay, so when do you think all of this stuff like really started to, like, when did you start to notice I really need to do this? Like, how long have these been projects that you've wanted to work on? And if it's
Hmm.
6 months, if it's 9 months, whatever that looks like, are you going to make a change in your schedule that's going to allow you to be able to do that? Because really, what happens at the end of the day is if you haven't had time to do it in 6 months, maybe you're working on something really big. And I totally understand that. As soon as I get over that hump, I'm going to have so much free time. But often that free time gets taken up by stuff that still isn't sewing that hole in the shirt
Right.
because you have shirts that you can wear instead. It just isn't the biggest priority.
Right,
So
because
trying,
Millionaire
yeah.
Matchmaker is on and has
Yeah,
another
you
green
have to
hairing
watch it.
episode.
Exactly.
You're like,
Yes. So I do try to help people think of it in that way of what are you actually truly going to get to. There are people who want to change their habits, and then there are people who try to change their habits. I mean,
yes.
there's a really big difference there. And so it's like I know that one thing I want to start doing is kind of a 2 week follow up or a 1 month follow up. And then if the space is back to being cluttered or back to the way that it was, I can kind of have a little bit of a deeper conversation. Like, do you have any idea why it got back to this point? What are the boundaries to keeping it clean? If what you really need is just a drop zone in a room so that you can, because if you are consistently the same room is getting cluttered and getting cluttered. Okay, well, let's think about what it's getting cluttered with. Is it
Hmm.
always stuff from the garage? Is it always stuff from when you take your, shoes off when you get home? What is it? And then we can find out how to combat it. I feel like you can't really, decide the way to make it better until you know what the root cause is. So even people have asked me like, well, what's your boundary? Like I have been wanting to meditate and journal every morning for just my whole life, it seems like, or at least my whole adult life. And I have never made time for it, never made time for it. And I'm finally taking this business growth academy class, and my business coach, week after week. Okay, have you meditated? Did you meditate? And it was like, no, no. And she finally she just got real with me and she said, what's the boundary? And I was like, I'd love to say it's time. I just don't have the time to do it. But I know I'm watching shows. So I don't know if I can use that. And once I really was like, this is the boundary I'm telling myself it is. It's the fact that I do not have time.
Right.
But if I look at that really intentionally, I guess I do. I just need to spend it the way that I want to be spending it, if that's what I want. And if I were to have meditated for a week straight and hated it, I probably wouldn't have stayed up on it. But,
Hmm.
I tried to make myself a nest. I tried to make myself a little space in my house that I feel super comfortable so that it is fun for me. I have like my great grandma Truex gave my mom a quilt, and it is my favorite quilt in the whole world. So I actually kind of took it from my mom. It was one of those she keeps
Oh,
in the closet all the time. Anyways,
yeah.
I'm gonna take it. And so it's like such a good corner for me to just do that. And that might be another part of it is if you're having a really hard time keeping things picked up, figure out something you can do while you're picking up that will make it fun for you. Whether that's, okay, 10 minutes every day, right when I get home, I'm going to blast the radio and I'm just going to put stuff away. And it could be only 10 minutes, but those habits are going to start to take over. And maybe you'll go 15 because you'll be listening to a song that you really like.
No,
Or
well,
maybe I'm the only crazy one. I don't know.
no, I'm pretty sure music is a motivator.
It
Music
is.
moves us. Really, this is about mindfulness. I'm
Yeah.
realizing that now. Like that I'm having
Hmm.
a little aha moment that
Yeah.
really our stuff, our I mean, I knew habits was around mindfulness, but
Yeah.
what we're allowing in our homes and what we're keeping is
Hmm.
also about mindfulness.
It is. It really is. And that's why this Christmas was really hard for me. And that might sound, I think it's going to sound very, very awful. I was only telling my husband this, but I didn't want gifts because it was like, if you're not going to get me exactly what I want, then I'm just going to have this thing I'm not going to do anything with. And that
Yeah.
sounds so terrible. But for me, it's like, I don't want to just tell you what to get for me and you tell me what to get for you and we both spend $50 on each other and then we just get that thing we could have got for ourselves. I like brought it up to my husband. I was like, what if next year we try to get everybody to just buy their own gift for some amount and then you do a show and tell. Like,
I
look at this
love that.
really cool thing
Yeah.
that I got. I mean, if it's not about the stuff. That's not what Christmas is about. I get that. But it comes with this kind of commercialized stuff, and it's like, I just am done bringing things into my house if I'm not going to use it, or if it's not, yeah, if it's not going to benefit me. I don't know. It's
There's this
such a mindful
weird
thing.
there's this weird push that happens like within the last 2 weeks of December, right before
Yes.
Christmas, where I start to panic. I don't think I've gotten my kids enough stuff. It's like a smash and grab everywhere I
Yeah.
go. And twice, like I was at Whole Foods and I bought these really cute, I thought, little crop-ish sweatshirts, hoodie, and had pictures of the earth on it. It felt very
Yeah.
crunchy and delicious. Both of my girls were like, "Hmm,
Thanks.
thanks." Yeah. Or even again, it's like like I choose wrong anyway. I'm learning that. So it's like either give them
You
exactly
hate
what they
that?
want,
Yeah.
give them some cash. Um, but oftentimes I'm finding things still packaged in their rooms,
Hmm.
still
Yeah,
wrapped.
it's been a trend that I've had in a lot of houses where, so we usually have a project bin. There's almost always an overflow bin, which is anything that you have more than one of. Like anything you have more than one of, put any additional into an overflow bin and then keep that in a place in your house where you can go shopping in your own home.
Oh,
So I love the overflow bin. And then the other thing is new stuff. So some people have new stuff on hand so that they can just go grab it if they're going to give somebody, like a baby shower gift or whatever kind of
mhm,
gift. But some people, I make this pile of new stuff and it's like, oh yeah, we just got that for like the last Christmas and that was October of last year. You know what I mean? It's like,
mhm.
okay, well, it's been a long time since Christmas and it's just something that you chose not to use, which again, I don't mean to say it in a way that's like not thankful that somebody thought of you in that moment, but I think it's also kind of important from the other side to maybe not look at it quite so much as a reflection of you and that person's relationship when you're giving something. Like if you give something and that person doesn't like it, that doesn't mean they don't like you at all. You know what I mean?
Right.
They
Yeah.
still love you. They still are really happy that you thought about them in that moment, but it's just not something that they're going to use. So kind of giving people permission to just like, yeah, that's okay that you don't like that. Oh my gosh, like let's get you something you do like, or maybe you can take it as an opportunity to go shopping with them more often. Or, hey, instead of me getting you this $30 gift for Christmas, what I'd like to do is take you shopping and we'll get you something for $30. And then I can start to see what you like and what, I mean,
Mhm.
use it as a way to connect with people instead of as a way to just have them open a present under the tree. But
Right.
I don't know.
I love the different bin systems that you are offering to people as solutions on how to start sorting the things in their house. Because I think this
Yeah.
is pretty unique. This is not, it's usually, keep, recycle,
Right.
keep, donate, trash. So I like that there's a little bit of a different strategy. The other thing that's coming up for me is getting kind of curious about where the habits came from or where
Mhm.
the thought processes came from. And as you were talking about the gifts, um, that sometimes we purchase and squirrel away, which I'm guilty of too. I swear that is coming from a Martha Stewart magazine in the early 90s where they
Just
told
have this
us
on
we needed
hand.
a gift giving closet. We could buy things on sale and put it away, and then we'll always have the perfect gifts on hand for the people that
Yeah.
we love, right?
And I think that like really comes down to that use it or lose it. So if you're the type of person who's gonna buy stuff on sale, but you know for sure when Christmas comes around, when someone's birthday comes around, you intentionally go to that cupboard first, I've got no problem with it.
Mhm.
What happens, okay, right now I'm kind of going through a use all of my travel size stuff period, phase,
This
because
is your era,
this is my
era?
travel size era. So I did a declutter challenge, and the thing that on my Facebook, it's completely free. I'm doing like one a month, just like a week-long challenge that you can get on my Facebook, kind of find out what we're doing. So my first one was January, a declutter challenge, and what I decluttered was my linen closet. And I mean, even if it's organized, that doesn't mean that you've done the everything you can with it. So I had a whole bin that was travel size stuff. It's all halfway full. I'm not going to take those when I go traveling because I need a full bottle. But I don't need a full bottle, or why would I have all these half size bottles? But you don't know what you don't know.
Right.
So you're like, I want to definitely have a whole bottle just in case. So I just was like, you know what? I'm not coming to this to get my travel size stuff. When I travel, I go get new stuff, and then it just keeps piling in here. So I just put like all of the shampoo and conditioner in my shower. I have a little, like a good shelf that I can use. So not everybody has that, but I just put it all in my shower because I was like, now those are what I'm going to use. And I mean, it's stuff like that. Yeah, use it or lose it. Like, well, if you're not using it, what are we doing with it? Are we using it in 6 months? Let's really think about the situation. Okay, you might get a house in 6 months. Do you think you're going to want to hang these blinds there? Or do you think you're going to want to get new ones anyways, because you're in a new house and you're going to just tack it on? I mean, and budget aside, I totally understand it's really, really great to have those things on hand. And like I said, I'm not ever trying to get people to get rid of stuff, but if you have, my dad is a bit of a hoarder. He loves, he's a painter. And so every time he's in a house and they're getting rid of anything, he's like, oh, I would love it. I'd love it. And then he has this like a bunch of blinds and curtains. I'm like, where are you going to put all that stuff? Well, if I do this, I'm like, well, you're not going to do that.
Yeah, right. Well, and as a painter, does he leave the leftover paint for the homeowner? Because we recently got rid of like 25 quarter can,
And I
inch of
kind of
paint.
asked him, it's like, if it's over about 5 years, like you do not, that's just get rid of it. And what I did in my mom's garage, I rekempted her garage, and I took pictures of all of her paint cans, because the reason why she actually keeps it, and this is where function versus like, I don't know, space comes in. The function of keeping those cans was because if she needed to touch something up in the house, she wanted to know what color it was. Okay, now we took pictures of all of it so we can look back and see what those are without having to have the actual can.
Yeah.
So,
and if the paint is old and crusty, it doesn't matter.
Match. It's not gonna, it won't, it'll chip easier. Yes.
Yeah. I really want people to go to your Facebook page and do the challenge, or encourage people. I don't get to tell people what to do. That's But then you also have a picture of your meditation nest on there.
Yes, I do. I put that on there. I would really love to start kind of, I do think that it is all about mindfulness. So kind of incorporating that a little bit into, I just, since I've been meditating, I feel like I have more capacity for things than a lot of the time you think, well, that's going to be 15 minutes that I won't get back, or 15 minutes that I'm not going to be able to do this and this and this. And it's like, yeah, but in that 15 minutes, you can take a breath and you can slow everything down. And like, it is the closest thing I've found to time travel so far. Because it's like, everybody, if you're going fast and that's always your environment and you're fast paced, you just think time goes that fast. But if it's like, you need to slow yourself down a little bit to realize I can still get a lot done. I just don't have to be quite as reactive and quite as, yeah. So I think I want to put both of those in there.
I mean, it totally feels integrated to me, dovetailed, because also as you're touching articles of clothing or pieces of furniture or a tchotchke, like you need a minute to process and hold the energy of that item in yourself. And I don't know, just feel it and process it, and then be able to think with your prefrontal cortex to decide
like
next.
I mean, and that's so true, Michelle, because that's part of it is, if you're flying through everything, yes, I like that. Yes, I like that. Yes, I like that. If you take a minute, say, I really like this, but I guess I don't use it. Can I like it from a distance?
Mhm.
Can it not be mine anymore? Because if you don't take the time to switch that to the prefrontal cortex, you're not really taking the time to think about if you need that. One other thing I said on my declutter challenge, I had a couple of people say that they really liked this. So I just want to put it out as a tip
Yeah.
is one in, one out. So if you're at a store and you're thinking about buying something, just know by the time you get it home, you have to pick something from the house to move out. And whether that looks like a box that you keep in your garage and you only take it once a month to the Goodwill, or whatever that looks like to you, maybe it's every day you just put it in your car so it's out of the house. But if you're doing one in and one out, what's going to start happening with your mindset is, do I want this more than everything I already have? Like,
Hmm.
is there something in the house that, I really don't care about that? And you can go wherever you want with it. Maybe you just decide to get rid of one pin, but I really think that as you start doing it, you're going to really start to think, is there anything in the house that I don't want enough that I can bring this in and take that out?
Yeah. I love that one in, one out rule.
Yeah.
One of the things that I have been a little bit on a mission for is branded materials in my home that I have picked up here, there, everywhere, or things with
Yes.
business names on it, deciding, is that something that I want to see or use? Um,
Koozies. Do you have a
Koozies,
bunch of koozies?
pens, chip clips. Like the whole point is this stuff is subconscious. It's tapping into your subconscious.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so if like your work pens are spattered all over your house and you're always feeling worried or strung up about work, maybe this is an opportunity
Get
to
it all to one spot.
get it all to one spot because that is not serving you.
Yeah, well, and that's the other thing is some people want to declutter while I'm organizing, and I totally understand that. They can just kind of like be in it with me. But I
Mhm.
do always let people know once all of your stuff is organized, you're going to have an easier time deciding what to get rid of because you'll know everything you have. When I did my mom's garage, I found like 10 hammers. And I was like, now you can get rid of at least five of them because you
Yes.
know where all of your hammers are and you know that you have a bunch. If you have one in every room and you're in the garage and you're like, man, I can never find my hammer. Well, that's kind of where I like to make homes and create homes for things. Is like if you want to have a hammer in every room, then it should have a home in that room. It should have a
Yes.
place that it stays, and that's where it stays. So yeah, just kind of helping people gather everything to just be all together. Another thing I would say, and sometimes when I'm at a customer's house, I'll do something and realize I haven't done it for myself in so long. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to go home and do that. So like a couple weeks ago, I got home and I just looked at all of my spices. And if
Oh,
anything was expired more than a year, I tossed it. Now, I totally understand those spices probably still would have been just fine in a dish. I really do believe that. But if you look at a spice right now that you buy, it expires in like 4 years. So that means you've had it for 5 years. You know what I
right.
mean? It's
Yeah.
like, okay, you've had this for this long and you still haven't used it up. Maybe just go get a different one. So I did that. But as we're talking about koozies, I'm thinking we have a bunch of koozies, but if I were to look at them with intention, yes, there's going to be some I don't want to get rid of. I bet you $1 million there are at least five that I would have no problem with parting with. You know what I mean? Because it's like
Yeah.
you think of it as this big project because you're like, well, I don't know if I want to or if I don't want to. But once you actually start looking at it, it's not as hard as that. It's more like, yeah, I don't care about this one. I actually don't even remember where I got this one. Like,
Yeah. Right.
who are James and Sophia? Who are those
Right.
people? It's like a
I think
wedding.
it
You're
was
like, I don't,
the
yeah,
worst.
like look through your pictures. Did I go to their wedding? I don't, yeah. So, anyways, I think that, yeah, it's definitely mindful.
So we obviously want people to call you so that you can come in and just help them. What would be a first step for them to start warming up to that idea, or that something that they can just do on their own, like a baby step?
Yeah, I love that. Actionable steps are huge.
Yeah.
Um, what I would say, and this kind of, again, if somebody has the ability to go to my Facebook page, I did a video around my declutter challenge.
Mhm.
In February, I'm going to do a functional February. So basically, just talking about how to help things be a little bit more functional and efficient in your house, which means if you only use it once a month, it goes in the back. If you use it daily, it's in the front. Like, where are you using the real estate that you
Mm,
have in your house? So that kind of functional. But with my declutter challenge, and this is what I'm going to say for anybody to have actionable steps, would be if you pick a room, like just one day, that could be your whole task. I'm going to
mhm.
pick which room I want to start with. And then if you can just put that 5 or 10 minutes of intentionality into it, it might take you a month to get through a room, but by the end of it, you're going to be through it. And actually, I will say I've had a lot of, especially mothers, push back against that because they'll get to it and then the kids completely undo everything. So
Oh,
I don't want to pretend because I don't have kids. So it's like, I don't want to pretend I know what that's like. But one of the things is to start with big wins. So
okay.
if you know for a fact that there's going to be a lot of sentimental stuff in your closet, don't start with your closet. Start with your linen closet, where you know that there's going to be expired prescriptions, there's going to
Mhm.
be maybe like toothpaste that's exploded. Like, you know, this isn't going to be sentimental. I'm going to start with the easy wins and get myself into a place where I can start looking at things with sentimental or that have
That have
sentimentality.
That's so
Yeah.
great.
So, but yeah, so I always, what I did in the declutter challenge was pick a room and then you get 4 boxes, really. Again, that's kind of the trash, the giveaway, what goes into a different room, like what
Oh,
just doesn't belong in this room. And
yeah.
that is a whole box of its own. Like, I'm in the office and I found some ibuprofen, I'm going to go put that in the bathroom, so just kind of
Right.
taking things out of the space. And that is, I consider that anything that already has a home. So that would also be dishes, that you can take that to the sink. Trash, you're going to put it in the trash. So those are kind of those easy wins to get into your brain of what can I work on that is going to be, oh, I already know where this goes. I know where this goes. So trash, donate, sell. Sometimes people want to sell
Mhm.
items if they're a little bit bigger items. Um, I'm having a hard time remembering that last bin, but basically the just 10 minutes a day, kind of sorting into those bins, and then you can um, get it to where it needs to go. So whether that's another room or in maybe
Mhm.
one day you just take everything that goes to another room and just put everything in another room and then that's it. And don't necessarily like put it on yourself. Okay, I'm gonna do my office. I have this box full of things for the other room. Oh, now I've been working for 15 minutes longer than I was supposed to, and I'm gonna stress. Like if you start to get stressed out, rest. I
Okay.
mean, I can't stress that enough because if cleaning and doing those things cause you stress, you're not going to want to do them anymore.
Right.
So as soon as you get there, like if it's something that's not pertinent, if you don't have to do it right then, like give yourself some grace. Say, you know what? I did already do my 10 minutes today. I'm good. I will start again tomorrow and just kind of, yeah.
I'm gonna do that with this stack of papers. It's like papers and journals, and I bought like a photo album to put Christmas pictures in. It's sitting over
Yeah.
here. Just 10 minutes.
Yep.
10. I'm kind of surrounded, Rachel. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah.
Everything behind you looks so clean and
Oh,
organized.
isn't that
Did you do
lovely?
this on? It's beautiful.
It's real. That's real.
Yeah,
That space often, most of the time, does look like this there.
good. Yeah, that's what I would say. Just 10 minutes a day and just set a timer. And if you want to, do a couple songs or whatever you want to do to kind of make it fun. And if you get caught looking at something because you're like, oh, these are the Christmas pictures, I'm trying to put them in the photo album. I only got 5 put in because I was looking at them. Give yourself grace. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what we want those things for, is so you can like, I am a huge proponent of printing pictures. I use free prints and I just print all of the pictures I love. And I
Mhm.
am what you may call a maximalist, not a minimalist. All of my walls have pictures on them. I love taking pictures of flowers. I love taking pictures of my friends. And so it's just like my house is constantly just a bunch of pictures on the wall. But
Mhm.
I love that because then it's out and I can take time to like, I'll literally stand in my hallway sometimes and just look at my friend wall. Just be like,
Aw.
I have all these friends. If you're not thinking about it, if you're not looking at it, then what'd you take the picture for? Use it or lose
Well, and
it.
this is the point, right? This is our one big beautiful life. These are
Mhm.
our connections. These are the
Yep.
people that we love. And how are we enjoying our spaces and our time
Yeah.
together and
Have you
getting
heard of
excited about it?
have you heard much about Swedish death cleaning?
I have the book
Okay.
and I have read like two-thirds of it. But
Okay. I'm probably about
share
one
with
third
us
in.
about
Yeah.
the Swedish death cleaning cleanse.
Yeah. So basically, it is kind of just that declutter process. So, in order to not create work for your family and things that they're going to have to do after you pass, it is a good idea to start getting into these ideas before you're immobile or can't really do that. So, 65 to 70, just kind of really start looking at your stuff with that intention. But if it's something that you really love because it has a story attached, invite someone over and tell them that story
Oh.
and like really use those connections because I there are so many times when somebody passes and you're looking through the stuff and you're like, well, my grandma had this my whole life, but I don't know why. It's like because they a lot of the time they don't want to burden people with their stories, and it's like make that an open space for them. Say, if you have any elderly people in your life, I would love to learn some of the stories behind the stuff that you've kept,
Mhm.
and just say like I just wonder what you how you got them, how you came into all of whatever that looks like. So Swedish death cleaning is really just a decluttering process, and in the book helps you to get in the mindset of it, of what kind of things you can get rid of. And maybe if you are telling your family those stories, then maybe your family will actively want those things, like.
Right.
And yeah, I mean, just if you would have, what did you say, it was needlework
The
that you
needle
found?
point, the
The
lighthouse
needle
needle point.
point.
Like we heard
Yeah.
the story, we cherished the moment with them. We could
Yeah.
like envision Aunt Marge making it. I can
Yeah.
see the handoff for the receipt of the gift. Like I can see their in my mind their smiling faces. And
Yeah.
that is a sense of completion for me. So it's
Yeah,
okay
that's
for me
beautiful.
to give that away.
Yeah. And I think that is a really good way of looking at it. Like
Yeah.
this item had its full life,
Hmm.
and who knows? My best friend Christina loves going to like antique shops and getting all of that old stuff, and that is pretty much what her all of her walls are covered with. So it's like it's going to go to somebody who loves that look, who loves
Yeah.
that aesthetic, who wants it around. Yeah.
Yeah. I have started really thinking I'm only 51, have been working in senior living,
Yeah.
that atmosphere. I have thought a lot about what would I take. I play this little game. What would I take out of this room with me?
With you, to
You
take
know,
with you. Okay,
yeah,
yeah.
when Netflix had Tiny House Nation or something
Yeah.
trending, yeah. So we would like I would just mentally go room by room in this house and think, what would I take to a like actually be able to take to a tiny house?
Yeah. Well, and that's one thing. I just went into a home to do a consultation, and I saw on their desk a lot of pictures in frames, and
Hmm.
they're going into a smaller space. And one of the first things I said is photo album. Like, get
Hmm.
yourself a photo album because those frames are taking up valuable space. Like, you want to keep those pictures. I get that. You want to keep them safe and you want to keep them preserved. But if you keep them in the frames, that's going to be a full box is going to
Mhm.
hold maybe 40 pictures, whereas your album could hold 200, so
Yeah.
it's, yeah, thinking of things in that way. Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming today.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. This was wonderful.
Yeah. Well, Rachel Pfeifer with Rekempt Home Organization. So people can find you on Facebook. Are there any other platforms that you're on? And what's your handle?
Yeah, so my handle on Facebook, I think I'm not very good at social media, but it's facebook.com/Rekempt54,
Okay.
the numbers 54.
And we'll put the link in the show
Okay,
notes.
thank
Yeah.
you. And then I have a website. It's just www.rekempt.com.
Perfect.
So the nice thing about the word rekempt is that I did make it up. It was a made up word. So if you ever look on Google, if you type in rekempt, everything about me is going to pop up. I'm on Better Business Bureau. I'm in LinkedIn. It's all there.
And what does
So
it mean to be rekempt?
yeah, so my original reason that I named it that is because I knew the word unkempt. And so I just kind of looked up that root word, kempt, and it's of a person or place being in neat and well cared for condition. So that's
Um,
what kempt means. And I thought, well, a lot of the time when people move into a house, they get everything good, they get it all kempt, and then it becomes unkempt, and I'm here to rekempt it. But as I've gone through the process, I've realized a lot of people don't start off kempt in the first place because a lot of people don't know where things go. And that's totally understandable. So, yes, but that's where rekempt came from.
Got it. That's
Yes.
great. I love that you went to the dictionary.
Yes, it was like, okay, what can, because I really wanted something that showed my playful side. I
Yeah,
love wordplay. Yeah, so it was fun.
that's great. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Yes, thank you. Have a good day.
You too.
Okay, bye.
Bye.